Hi, welcome back. On this episode, we're going to go over the something that I found on the vent line on the Yamaha, as well as just some quick wiring. It's going to be a pretty short video. Don't forget to subscribe, helps me out a lot, and check me out on Instagram at Clara Garage. Let's get started. Alright, so we're on the left side of the bike. So I wasn't planning on making a video, so I'm just recording this with my phone. So it might be a little bit shaky compared to normal. I probably should have recorded this from the beginning to show the teardown, but we're going to just get right into it. So right here is our vent line. It runs from the tank, and then it runs along the frame, and then it goes down right by your oil dipstick, and you can see it moving right there. So it's this line here, and then it goes to this check valve. And if you've seen my other videos on eliminating the fuel pump on this bike, and I was having vent line issues, and I thought it was pinched or plugged somewhere, this ended up being my culprit. So you can kind of hear there's a check valve in here, and you should be able to gently blow in and out, and it should flow nice and free. And when I first tried gently blowing, I couldn't get anything. I had to blow really hard and bang it a few times, and then a bunch of dust and stuff came out. And it only goes one way too. It has an arrow up, and it says up on it, so you can only mount it one way. So this was my issue, and I tried playing with it a bit, and it doesn't seem reliable. It keeps buggering up on me. So I'm going to, maybe temporarily, maybe permanently, most likely, eliminate this. And I made this guy here. All it is just a straight piece of 1/4-inch brake line. I put just a very tiny little flare on the end just so it doesn't slip off the lines easily. So it'll help them stay on. And then I wrapped electrical tape around it just so it simulates the way the check valve is supposed to be, so it'll stay where it's supposed to stay. So this will work, and I can use that vent line again, because I have been using a temporary vent line, and finally got around to looking into it. So keep in mind, if you're having the same issue, and you decide to do the same thing that I did and eliminate your check valve and your vent line, I'm assuming that the reason they put it in the vent line is so if your bike ever rolls over, you crash or something, and you had fuel leaking out of your vent line, that it would potentially run onto the ground and start a fire. So I'm assuming that's why they put a check valve in your vent line. But this one has failed and it's not reliable anymore. So I'm temporarily, most likely permanently removing it. And I'm just going to run this guy here. This will work, at least for now. I can always change my mind later and buy a new one of these. And then the other thing that I'm doing, I've had issues with the wiring going to the computer before. I've soldered a few of them because they broke. I've repaired 3 wires on the bottom connector on the computer. So one time I was riding and one of the wires broke. That just happened to be the spark for the number 1 or the back cylinder. So I limped home on one cylinder. I was close to home, so I was good. And then when I got into it, I ended up having to solder 2 other wires. So every 2 years or so, I like to give the wiring a good inspection on this bike. And I always have these taped up right over so I can't get so less oil and that gets in there, because I think that was part of the issue too. So there's 3 connectors on it. And that's what your computer looks like. So in my case, it was the bottom connector that I lost a wire on. And that wire was for the spark for my back cylinder. But that was quite a while ago. And then I have the battery box out. I didn't have to take the battery box out, but I just decided I would clean up some of the oil in that. Because if you fill your oil up from the dipstick and you spill, that's kind of where it goes. And it makes it a little bit easier to inspect all the wiring in this area. So like this wire here, these three go down to your stator. I've had to replace that before. I'm almost at the same mileage on this new stator that the other one failed at. So there's a chance next year I might be replacing that again if history repeats. And then you have some other sensor wires and that kind of stuff down there. And then that's your battery box. And that's what the fuse box goes on to. If you take this bottom cover off, it eliminates this big thing sticking up here, and it gives a little bit more room to work. But yeah, so I just thought I'd go over where I've had some wiring issues before since I was into it. I wasn't planning on recording anything, but then when I found that check valve, I decided I would record. So I know this was a pretty short video and wasn't in as much detail as I normally do. I wasn't planning on pulling the computer and everything out. I just kind of decided once I started finding some stuff, and I thought I'd share the wiring too, but when I found that check valve, I thought I would share that with everybody. And when it comes to your battery box, you're not able to pull the battery box out with the computer still on it. The computer slips on the front side of it. It's kind of in a crummy spot. So you got to undo your connectors and then slide the computer out. So maybe this winter I'll do this from beginning to end if there's any interest in it. So then you know how to get to your computer, whether you want to change it or you just want to check your wiring before you go on a trip. So that's kind of the reason I was checking the wiring. I'm about to put on 10 to 11,000 kilometers in about 10 days. So I like to try to go over stuff that I know has been an issue before and just make sure it's still good. So hopefully, knock on wood, I have no issues on my trip. Well, I'm going to get back to it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.